Hello and welcome to Module 2 of Phoenix Rising. So this week we're going to be focusing on going from victim to creator. The victim of your circumstances to the creator of your life experience. So the first thing we need to get is that it's not you, it's that we live in this victim-oriented, ego-based world. We are trained to think and act and respond and react to life like victims. So let me describe how that even happens so you can get a little bit of a sense of what I'm even talking about. When you're really little, you're like a little kid, right? And there's big people who are taking care of you. You rely on them for everything. You don't understand this world. You don't know what's going on. You can't feed yourself. So let's say that you've got slightly dysfunctional big people taking care of you, or slightly dysfunctional circumstances. It could be your parents, your immediate family. It could be a grandparent. It could be a daycare situation, church, school, any circumstance where there's bigger people taking care of little you. And something happens. Something happens and your needs are not met. Or you feel ashamed, or something bad happens and you feel that ground shake underneath you a little bit. You now have three responses. You can think, oh my God, there's something wrong with the world that this thing happened. You could think, oh no, there's something wrong with my caretakers, with the big people, that this bad thing happened. But what happens if you think there's something wrong with the world? How terrifying would that be to little you to imagine that there's actually something dysfunctional or wrong with the world? I mean, that just sounds like a completely unsafe condition to create in your head, right? So we would not create that meaning. And we're talking little you, like 2, 3 years old, little you. So like, there can't be something wrong with the world. That would be absolutely too unsettling. There must be something wrong with the big people who are taking care of me. Absolutely unsettling too. It can't be them because, I mean, just imagine the groundless feeling of a little child, imagining that there is something wrong with their caretakers. Impossible. So you can't even create that condition, right? So what's the final option here? Well, there must be something wrong with me. And so each of us has been inculcated, conditioned with this idea that there is something wrong with me. All right, so see if this is resonating at all, because it has to be on some level because it's like, I see this with my private clients all the time. I think there's something wrong with me. And I have had that feeling a lot in my life. But when you really try to boil it down and you look at, okay, I did some bad things in my childhood. All right, I've done some bad things in my adulthood, but it feels deeper than that. It's because when your ground got shaken when you were very little, and you couldn't have it be because the world was a messed up place or your caretakers were messed up. It had to be that there was something wrong with you. So you internalize that, right? And it's a safety survival measure, right? So if you're walking around with any version of that, like there must be something wrong with me, could be, I think I did something wrong, but I don't know what it is, right? Or I deserve punishment, or I'm probably going to get in trouble, but I should get in trouble. There's a lot of versions of this. So maybe you want to sit with that a little bit and see what your version is. But we've internalized that there's something wrong with us. And how this victim mindset gets built upon is that we believe that we are passive. We're taught this. This is part of our social conditioning, that we are passive recipients of life, that life happens to us, right? And maybe you were raised in a family where there's a little more tough-mindedness. My family belief system was life is something that just happens to you. Some people are lucky and some people are not lucky, and there's absolutely nothing you can do about it. And that was the belief system that I got conditioned with, that I had no clue about until my late 30s. So you might have something similar operating just at the back of your mind and your subconscious that you're not even aware of. But it's what I call your invisible operating system. It's where you're living from. And for most of us, for most of the planet, it's a victim mindset, that life is something that just happens to you. And we don't have any control over it. There's no room we're just victims. We're just helpless victims. And This leads to, if you've been victimized by something, right, you're going to look like for some kind of safety or escape hatch. So there's something known as the dreaded drama triangle. You can look it up online, and I will be posting in the group. You'll get this handout, the Karpman drama triangle, where it's that there's a victim, which means that there has to be a persecutor, right? Somebody has to be persecuting, or a circumstance has to be persecuting against you in order for you to become the victim. And now what do you need? Now you need a rescuer. So it's persecutor, victim, rescuer. Those are the 3 points on the drama triangle. So, and we keep switching out roles, right? So let's say that I become the victim of fraud. The persecutor is whoever's defrauding me, right? Who's going to be my rescuer? I might go hire a lawyer, or I might just go complain to a friend, right? Or I might go drown my sorrows in alcohol. Right? So the rescuer doesn't have to be another person. They don't have to be functional. It could be food, TV, any kind of an escape hatch, and we keep switching, right? So sometimes we victimize someone. So now we're the persecutor, and they have to go complain to their mom, like, I'm going to tell mom that you did that, right? Or to their therapist or to their friend group about us. It could be that your basement floods. Now you're the victim of a circumstance, the flood. You're persecuted by the flood, and how are you going to rescue? Often rescue looks like complaint or escape, right? And so we just keep switching roles. Often we rescue, right? That's part of what creates codependency. It's not a wholesome, healthy dynamic. It's this dreaded drama dynamic, the victim dynamic. So it looks like something goes wrong with somebody and you rush into the rescue. Like, their boss is really mean, so you sit around with them all night Friday night drinking heavily, even though you want to be home sleeping and hanging out with your family, listening to them because you're the rescuer. And we're taught that that's how the world works, and that's how relationships work, and how you support, quote unquote, how you support someone is by being the rescuer to their victim, right? And we're just totally stuck as the total like hamster wheel, right? It's like the victim triangle. So with there must be something wrong with me to we're a victim of circumstance, and you can't ever really get better or win. You just can maybe be rescued a little bit or rescue somebody else to feel a little bit better inside yourself or about life, right? Or like you're helping in some way, but nothing actually ever changes. So the change that we're going to be exploring this week in Module 2 is this. We're going to completely hop off the victim triangle, and we're going to get on a new ride, and it is called the empowerment dynamic. So things still happen in the empowerment dynamic because this is life. So we're not looking to escape life, but we are looking to reconceive of it, or like perceive things differently. So instead of victim, persecutor, and rescuer, on the empowerment dynamic, you can picture it again as a triangle, but it's more like, I want to soften it and say it's more like a cycle. You have a challenger. A challenge of some kind happens to you, right? You get fired from your job. Somebody breaks up with you. You have a health issue. Something happens. Something bad happens, right? But now it's not a problem. You're not being persecuted. You're not the victim. You're being challenged. And how do you get help when you're being challenged? You seek out a coach of some kind, like somebody or something that can coach, support, encourage, or direct you to do what? To become the creator, to respond creatively to the challenge. So that can even look like, just to put it in the context of Phoenix Rising, you've got challenges in your life, you're not living up to your potential. You feel like maybe emotions from the past are still shadowing you and you want to figure out if there's a way to shake them off. So that's your challenge, right? But you are rising to the occasion. You're like, I'm going to be a Phoenix Rising. Let me hire a coach. Like this program and the other people who are supporting you in it and me, we're coaching you to meet the challenge with this creative mindset. And instead of like, why me? Life is unfair. There's nothing I can do about it. The new question of the empowerment dynamic is, there has to be a creative solution to this. I have no idea what it is. I can't think about it right now. Like nothing is occurring to me now, but I know that there has to be a creative solution to this. And I'm going to figure it out. So I want you to take a moment and just check in with your body, okay? You can even close your eyes if you would like, and just imagine like the bad situation happens. You lose money, you get fired, you break your ankle, somebody's mean to you, There's a work situation, there's a home situation, whatever it is, right? You're faced with this circumstance. Imagine feeling persecuted and like you're the victim. Feel that victimization rise up in your system. What does that feel like? Does it feel sharp, strong, contracted? Think of a few words to describe. Locate it in your body. How do you feel in your body when you're the persecuted victim? Often we feel helpless, like there's nothing we can do about it, like things are hopeless. There's no solution. We're just stuck and trapped. And this is it. See if you can locate that in your body and see if you can hear yourself thinking some thoughts about your circumstance or being a persecuted victim. All right, now shake it out a little bit. Open your eyes. Woo! Move yourself around a little bit. Breathe. Okay, now close your eyes again. Think of the same circumstance as your challenge. Think of the same circumstance, challenge. This is your challenger, but you are a creator. You can respond creatively. Start to imagine there's a creative solution to this. There's somebody who can help me. There's a book I can read. There's something I can Google. There's got to be a video about how to do this on YouTube. Wait, my neighbor, didn't somebody go through this? Didn't I read something in the newspaper? I want you to feel inside yourself. How does it feel in your body, in your whole system, to imagine that you are a creator, responding to life creatively, responding to challenges creatively, and that there are people and modalities out there to help coach you through this and help you figure out what the creative solution is? How does it feel to feel like you're the creator of your life experience and that there is a solution to whatever challenge you're facing? Locate that feeling in your body. See what your mind is thinking. Maybe your mind is already generating in images or thoughts solutions to your current challenge. Do you feel uplifted, hopeful, galvanized, empowered? This is why it's called the empowerment dynamic. Now, you can open your eyes, come to the room. If you want to jot down some notes, please do. This is the moment, all right, when we're jumping off the dreaded drama triangle into the empowerment dynamic, where the new elephant in the room of your being is probably going to be resistance. Because what happens is we expand into this possibility and then immediately resistance comes in, this ego to stop, right? To stop us from killing off what we believe in, our old beliefs and our ego beliefs and how we've always done things. So resistance is the new elephant in the room. And that can show up like a feeling of despondency. It can show up as self-sabotage. It can show up energetically like somebody else coming in to mess with you. So maybe even as you're doing this program, people start messing with you. Maybe something weird starts happening at work or in your house, or your dog gets really needy, or you and your spouse start fighting. This is what's known as the upper limit problem. And it's this idea that we only have, right now, you only have a certain amount of happiness, success, and love that you are willing to feel. Again, from conditioning from early in your life. So to break through that glass ceiling of how much love, joy, happiness, success you're allowed to feel, you're going to have to do a few things. So this is how I'm going to leave it. All right. Your homework is as follows. Do that visualization, how you feel being a victim and what you're thinking versus how you feel imagining being the creator of your experience and what you're thinking at that point. I want you to start playing whenever a challenge comes up by approaching it with, there has to be a creative solution to this. I don't know what it is yet, but I'm going to figure it out. I'm going to stay open to it. The next thing I want you to start doing is noticing when your resistance comes up and what it's made of. I want you to start writing down your negative thoughts, all of those thoughts, like it's too late, I'm too stupid, I'm too old, I'm too whatever it is, other people got there first, whatever it is. I want you to start writing it down, because next week we're going to start rewriting your old negative beliefs, okay? But right now, it's about just beginning to expand into the possibility that there might be a different way to approach life than from the victim stance. To start opening up in your mind that question of like, there has to be a creative solution to this, and letting yourself start to experience physically and emotionally and mentally that expansion. And then when ego resistance comes in, to just start to write down on a list. You could maybe even open a whole fresh sheet of paper or a new page in your notebook that's like top negative beliefs or resistance to feeling good or whatever it is. And it doesn't have to be organized at first. It can be totally messy at first, all right? But I want you to just start gathering the negative thoughts you're having, how resistance is showing up for you. Oh, here's the fun part. Really, though, this module, yeah, more of what we started to stir up in the first module. So sorry in advance, but guys, this is an amazing transmutation tool, okay? It's called Sit in the Shit, all right? Or like feel, don't fix. So this is a matter of what I call I've gotten those slogans from other people. I had a coach who always said, you got to sit in the shit. And I don't remember, someone recently I heard this, feel, don't fix. Can't remember, I can't give credit to anybody right now, but that was not me. I'm normally talking about like shining the light of awareness on whatever's happening inside of you. Because when you can start to capture that and feel it and you're not running from it or in denial about it, now we can do something about it. So this module is all about starting to see clearly and feel yourself clearly and notice what your obstacles to feeling great are, whether it's negative thinking or old habits of feeling. And let's just capture that. You're collecting data and you're going to hear some fucked up things that you think, okay? And you're going to be like, why am I so resistant to feeling good? Why am I so angry about the idea of solving this problem? I've had a couple of experiences. One was when this boyfriend of mine broke up with me, devastated me, broke my heart. And I noticed that I had resistance to healing my broken heart because I wanted to show him, I wanted to stay brokenhearted so that I could eventually show him how badly he'd hurt me. That doesn't make any sense. It felt though like that's what I'm gonna do, right? Inside myself. And resistance is weird like that. So we'll be talking more about resistance this week, but that's your homework. Write about it, free write, use a journal, storm around your house, talk out loud to yourself, get in the shower, cry, go for a long drive, curl up in a ball under a nice blanket in bed. Whatever you need to do to start to sit in the shit and feel it instead of fixing it and start to capture this data about what you're thinking and feeling and like what your infrastructure is made up of. So that is Phoenix Rising Module 2. I guess I should call it Sit in the Shit. All right, guys, I'll see you in the group.